All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Real Review. My name is Kevin.
And I'm John.
And we are The Real Movie Guys. And welcome back to Jurassic June. Today is the final episode of Jurassic June, where we'll be talking about the most recent entry in the Jurassic Park franchise, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So sad.
Dun.
Not the movie so sad, just so sad it's ending. I'm really sad. So at this point, what is Fallen Kingdom about? Well, pretty much this movie takes place several years after the fallout of the Jurassic World theme park. Everything's destroyed. Jurassic Park, the theme park's done. A now active volcano on the island of Nublar is set to go off and wipe out all of dinosaur life. Not wanting this to happen, Claire and Owen return to the island to save Owen's raptor Blue and as many dinosaurs as they can. However, not as all as it seems, as an evil plot including cloning, genetic manipulation, and the militarization of dinosaurs lurks in the shadows.
Again.
Wow, that's a mouthful of things going on right here. And I think this movie shows that. That being said, I can say both of us didn't see this movie in theaters. I didn't rush out to see it. John, did you rush out to see it after it came out? I didn't see it till it came out on 4K and Blu-ray. I know I waited till then. And even then, I think I waited quite a while after, to be honest.
I think I only bought this movie to complete the whole set.
Ouch. But did you have any expectations? So what would you say was like a deterrent for you for not rushing out to see this movie initially?
I just felt like there was nothing else that they could do. Even just after watching Jurassic World and seeing what they did with that one, I felt going into this movie that it was going to be a downfall.
A fallen kingdom, you would say?
I would say.
Oh, snap.
No pun intended.
oh, man. No. Yeah, I agree. I think there was franchise fatigue for me, so I think I just wasn't that interested in seeing this movie. And then, again, it's one of those things like, all right, I'm not going to rush out to go see it, but I'll watch it eventually. And, I think there's some interesting things in this movie, I want to say. I don't want to say it was the disaster I thought it was going to be, because it wasn't. And I want to get into that. So, what are some positives for this movie? What I want to start off was, as far as being... I want to compare this more to Jurassic World than I would say Jurassic Park. This movie definitely had more memorable set pieces and action sequences. I think the island erupting scene was really well done. I think, they go back into that little gyrosphere ball and they fall into the ocean.
See, I have a problem with that scene.
Well, listen, so the reason I say that's more memorable is it's practical, which is interesting. There's a lot more practical effects in this movie, so I'm going to give this movie more of a positive in that respect. A lot of the dinosaurs were practical. They fight the Indoraptor. A lot of that was practical in this movie, so I think they took notes from the previous one. Again, the action sequences I thought were pretty flashy and more interesting. Definitely overall. Yeah, I'd say by far, I remember these scenes more than I do the previous movie scenes. Not on the same page with that? Not on the same page?
No, I don't agree.
No? All right, so talk to me. So what's your negative? As far as the action stuff, what would your negatives be to that?
Well, I thought the whole volcano erupting kind of thing was kind of stupid in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Because at first they're like, okay, we have all this time.
Right.
And they're like, well, we don't really know how long it takes for a volcano to really erupt.
Right.
And then after they're all getting off the island,
right,
they're 2 inches away from the island. And supposedly all this volcanic ash and everything's coming down and wiping out the dinosaur, and they're only still
right,
maybe a couple feet away. So if they were really that close to it, I think it would have caught up to them.
So let's do this. So
no way.
what I want to do is this. So for this movie, right, I'm going to say right off the bat, logic is not in this movie's wheelhouse. All right. More so, I think, maybe than any of the other ones. This movie's just like, logic wasn't working, so we're just going to throw that out. We're just going to go straight face action, give you dinosaurs fighting, and give you what you wanted. You wanted practical effects, you got them. I think it threw a lot more at the wall, which is a positive and a negative for this movie in a lot of respects. But like I said, I think, again, I want to say I'm gonna applaud it for some of the good things that it did. Like I said, I think the set pieces are good. I think the island is good. I think, regardless if the context of it, I think the whole way it was shot was really well done. Especially they had some really good cinematography, oddly, in this movie, I would say. There was the scene of the Brontosaurus dying in the flames when they're leaving the island, which I found out later that's actually the Brontosaurus from the first Jurassic Park that they saw, supposedly. I don't know how that makes... Again, it doesn't really make sense. It's cool, though.
Yeah, but don't you also see
the first thing they saw on the island is the last thing they're seeing on the island as it dies, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of cool.
But to me, it's also almost like they're kind of trying to repeat Jurassic Park 2 and 3 again, where they're like, oh, here's another island where there's dinosaurs were. But this one, there's a volcano.
Well, interesting you say
that. So we have to make sure that we help these.
Interesting you say that. Interesting you compare it to those movies, because I do have some comments on that. So before we even get there, like I said, I want to touch on just a couple more things. The practical effects, like I said, you can't argue those were good. I thought the raptor looked good, the Indoraptor. I think that's how you say it, Indoraptor. It looked good. Like I said, the claws looked cool. There's a couple little things with that, but regardless, like I said, the more practical, the better, in my opinion. The sphere being practical, them falling into the water and actually filling the sphere with water to have them almost drowning was actually pretty cool. I'll give them credit. That's a scary scene. There was a behind-the-scenes feature I actually watched, and that was pretty intense. I don't know if I would have done that. Like I said, more practical, the better. You're going to get points automatically right off the bat for me, even if it didn't look that great. In this movie, it did, but if you're trying with practical, you're going to get points right off the bat. I would say the main characters are more likable in this movie, which is weird. I think the rest... I'll go into positives and negatives. So the main characters, I think Chris Pratt's a little more likable and Bryce Dallas Howard's a little more likable in this movie. I cared a little bit more about them. Everybody else around them is god-awful annoying. But the two of them, I think, were actually more likable in this movie, I would say.
I also actually like the kids more in this one than I did in Jurassic World, though.
Who? The Justice Smith?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, he was okay. He kind of treaded on the line of being super annoying. To me, he was annoying. I would say to me, he was more annoying than anything else. And also, I think it was Danielle Pineda. She played Zia. She played the doctor that was with them. She was just kind of annoying. They were just annoying, I would say. They were very one-dimensional, annoying characters. So I don't know how much they really contributed to the plot. And I feel like the movie realized that. Because they're heavily involved in the beginning of the movie. And then we get to the end and they're kind of not there anymore. They're there, here, and there. Oh, hi, we're still in the movie. I feel like they're waving to the camera. Very strange, very strange. Like I said, so the characters, to me, the main characters are more interesting in this movie. I think their relationship is... I think the only negative I would have changed is they're broken up in the beginning of the movie. They got together at the end of Jurassic World, and now, several years later, they're separated again because it didn't work out. I think it would have been more interesting.
Just like two other people.
Yeah, right? I think a little more interesting thing would have been if they were still together, and maybe she had to convince Owen to go back to the island that way. It would have been just a different story. It would have been oh, well, I need you back because I have to get back to the island. I don't know. Tell me a different story. That's very cliche, and I've seen that before. Again, just a little bit of rewriting there.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think the dinosaur action's great in this movie. The fight scenes are good. All the dinosaurs running into each other and clobbering one another, and the island's erupting. You got the T-Rex attacking that other dinosaur guy, ripping him apart. The Indoraptor and Blue fighting is just great. I really love that scene. Shot beautifully. Blue jumps on the Indoraptor and they crash through like a cathedral glass ceiling and impales the dinosaur, and it's like this big flash of lightning, dramatics. I mean, again, I don't want to say it's completely ridiculous, but it's still interesting to me. I still like it. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, that piggybacks off the cinematography just being. It was good in the last movie. I think it was a little heightened more in this movie, so I would definitely see that as a positive. And something I didn't expect myself to say was the horror elements in this movie were really well done, I thought. Which is weird, because my biggest argument was you're turning the dinosaurs into monsters, but I think now that the movie series has committed to that it's trying to be like a monster movie, I think that makes it automatically better in its portrayal. It's not having too much of an identity crisis, which it does, don't get me wrong, but when it committed to the monster elements, I think it does really well in this movie. I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed the more horror aspects, especially the Indoraptor hunting them in the mansion. I thought was great. Honestly,
yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I could understand that where you're coming from with that.
Yeah, like I said, Go ahead. Yeah.
The one weird thing too that I found with this movie is like the fact that they're keeping dinosaurs in their basement now. It almost seems like
who needs it?
Well, not even just logic.
Yes, there's just a giant room full of dinosaurs. Yes,
just the fact of like, hey, yeah, you know these things that ate all these other people. Like if this was the first movie or something,
right?
And they were like saying, okay, dinosaurs, blah blah, like they can stay under your house or whatever.
Yeah.
But we've already seen what these dinosaurs do to people, and the fact that they're keeping them under their house in a place that they live.
Right.
With a little girl and some old man that barely has any words to say upstairs is just really weird.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the negatives. So, when we get into the negatives with this movie, there's quite a few. I'm not gonna lie. The biggest thing to me, a lot of it has to do with the plot, and a lot of the problem is this movie has a major identity crisis. And it was interesting earlier when you brought up when you brought up Lost World and Jurassic Park 3, because those movies kind of suffered the same issue. Lost World didn't know what it wanted to be. It had this awesome jungle set piece in the beginning, and then later on it's a real world monster movie with the T-Rex stamping through New York. And then you have Jurassic Park 3, who was like, well, we're just going to be like a silly horror movie now at this point. We don't know what we want to do, but we're going to go with that. That seems to work. This movie, I'm surprised it repeated the same mistake almost. It took elements from The Lost World and then took elements from Jurassic Park 3 and then meshed them together. The weird part to me is the first half of the movie works and the second half of the movie works. But the problem between the two of those is they don't belong together. Together they don't work. Separately they work. As individual ideas, if you made two movies, they work. They do. Getting the dinosaurs off the island, okay, I buy that. That's fine. A little silly, but that's fine. Whatever. You're gonna get them off. It's more of an adventure story. Got to rescue who they can and get off the island before it explodes. End of the movie, right? That's one movie there in itself. Going to the next one, we shifted tones like hardcore. Someone took like the stick shift and shifted into another gear. Now we're in a horror movie in a mansion with like a bidding going on for dinosaur lives and militarization of dinosaurs, which I still hate so much. That being said, but it works though. Then you have the horror movie of the raptor chasing them in the, like I said, I think that's cool, but it works. But they don't work together. That's the problem. You have two different movies in one movie. Yeah, more so than the other ones, and I feel like they're almost. It's odd too because I feel like they're almost split even. I didn't check the runtime, but I feel like if you legit looked at the runtime, it's almost half and half. This movie,
probably,
which is weird, and the identity crisis hurts it because you don't know what you're getting. You think you're getting one movie, and then suddenly, bam, you're smack dab with another movie. And like I said when I gave the plot synopsis for this movie. It's just so out of left field. You're like, oh, you're talking about saving dinosaurs. The next we're on friggin' Mansion of Terror being chased by the Super Raptor.
Seriously.
It's strange. It's a strange... I don't know what they were thinking. I would like to see them continue with the horror would be a different change of pace, especially if they can keep doing it successfully. I think that would work better for the series because it's different. We've seen the adventure, classic adventure. We haven't really seen dinosaurs be too much of a horror threat at this point. So I think that would be a little more interesting to continue with. Just stay in one lane though. Any advice to this movie? Pick a lane and stay in it. Don't pick two.
Yeah.
That being said, this movie suffers from some other things, and I like to call it, it's my own special phrase, it's the Whedon humor. What do I mean by Whedon humor? We've seen the Marvel movies now, right? Mm-hmm. Most of us has probably seen them. Everyone's sarcastic. There's always this goofy humor. This movie is drenched in that, and the weirdest spots, which really irks me. The perfect example I can give you, and I will give you a specific example, is when the Indoraptor is in the cage. The hunter, who is played by Ken Wheatley, and for those who don't know, very interesting fact: Ken Wheatley is Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs.
Ooh.
How crazy is that? That's the same guy. Going, would you blip blip me? That was that guy. Yeah, that's him. How crazy! Silence of the Lambs is one of my favorite movies. Another video entirely. Crazy though that's the same guy. Anyway, he knocks out the dinosaur. He's got this ripping out teeth fetish for dinosaurs, so he's gonna go do it. There's literally a Looney Tunes moment in Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. He opens his eye and friggin' smirks at the camera, wagging his tail. I thought it was in a cartoon. What is that?
Bugs Bunny was in.
Why was this in here? And I don't know if this has to do with my tone, but this kind of humor is thrown throughout the movie, and I condemned Jurassic Park 3 to hell for that. When they have the dinosaur sniffing poop and then staring at the camera, it was that moment all over again. It's what are you doing? Don't do that. Come on.
Yeah.
Stay, like I said, stay in your lane. If you're gonna be a scarier movie, go for the thrill. You don't have to be gory or anything like that, but be scary. Stay with the thrilling aspects. That's what I like to see. I like to see the thriller aspects of it.
Yeah.
How about you, John? What other kind of issues would you have with this movie? Because I think you're definitely hating on it more than I am, but I'm curious.
I mean, altogether, I just felt like the movie was almost boring in a way.
And I think that has to do with the two.
Maybe it was too long.
Crisis. Yeah.
Where it was, I don't know, it was one of those movies where you watch it, and afterwards you're kind of that was 2 hours I could have got back on my life.
Yeah, no, I mean it's long and drawn out because I think it's two movies shoved together. I think that's really the main issue. It's definitely too long. I'm not going to argue with you there. It's a weird one to review for me because, like I said, I just keep under the impression I watched I feel like I watched two movies. If I paused it and then gone back, I watched another movie.
Yeah, that's what I felt like. I completely agree with that, and
it's really weird. It's just a very strange phenomenon for me.
And then at the end, you're just still well, that happened.
So there's a couple other things that bother me. We talked a little bit about the characters, but what really annoyed there's a specific thing about the characters. So the little girl. Spoilers. I don't think I have to say it anymore because we've been talking about this. But the little girl is a clone of her mother. That the secret partner of John Hammond, which is a really stupid thing to begin with. I don't know what that was about. John Hammond had another partner apparently that no one ever talked about.
Another guy that looked like Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, whatever that was about. But he cloned his daughter, and it was really bad. And so she's going through an identity crisis when she finds out I'm the clone of my other part, and the dinosaurs are like me because they're clones too. And then she sets them free. That line at the end of that movie was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Which, I was on board with the horror stuff up until we get to the end of the movie. They have to make a decision. At the end of the movie, Claire, Owen, they're in together with the little girl. They have to make a decision at that point. They have to decide what they're going to do. If they're going to release the dinosaurs into the world or let them die via asphyxiation from all the smoke. So Claire's about to hit the button, the big red button, cliche, to release all the dinosaurs. And she stops and I can't do this. They shouldn't be here anyway. Then the little girl, out of frame, you just hear click and the doors open. And you see the little girl standing there. They're like me. I had to. They're like me. What? It's just so stupid. Like, you could have stopped her. I'm sorry. It was really stupid. It was just so stupid. And, the dinosaurs get out into the real world, and then it was stupid. I don't know. I know they're doing another movie, which we'll talk about once it comes out and whatnot.
They are.
I think it's called Jurassic Park Dominion. Right now is the name, unless that changes.
Should have been called Jurassic Park. The final ending.
Yeah, right. She releases them, and I don't know what that's. I guess it's about the dinosaurs in the real world, which whatever.
Taking buses.
Yeah. Another thing with the characters, again, besides the whole that plot's really stupid. I don't even really want to spend that much time talking about it because it just really irks me. The other thing I feel like is wasted. Jeff Goldblum is in this movie playing his character.
Oh, thank God he came back.
I want to say, I mean, it's obvious he's in a room. I could feel like he was like sitting like us right here in his house, reading the lines off for the role. He's in it for like 2 minutes, right? He's in it a little bit in the beginning.
And that was 2 minutes too many.
Yeah, and I mean, he's fine, but he didn't contribute anything. He's just like...
No. He's just there again.
He just read some lines.
I kind of like to just say, hey, this guy's back now.
Hey, remember I was in the series. I'm gonna read some lines about what's going on. It was just such a wasted character.
Remember The Lost World? I was in it.
Yeah.
I tried to star in it, and I couldn't do it.
And then, it's one of those things. I think I know the original cast is returning for the next movie, so maybe he'll be a bigger character in the next movie. But it's hard to say. I can't judge it on that because it hasn't happened. But the fact that he's just so wasted in this movie, just like, well, you had Jeff Goldblum, you could have gave him a little bigger of a role or something.
Seriously.
Again, that's just a big issue. A quick joke though, while we're talking about this. So, one of my favorite worst scenes in this movie, I have to say, I was talking about with this John earlier. Me and my wife do this joke where we go, there's a scene where Owen's trying to find Blue, his raptor. And he finds her, and she like jumps at him, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna attack him." And he's got his hands out. He's all ready. He's like, "No." You go, "Blue, you know me, Blue, you know me." And I lost it when I see that scene. I don't know what it is. It could be just me and my stupid sense of humor, but I like lost it when I saw that scene. He's going like, "Blue, you know me, Blue, you know me. Don't eat me. You know who I am." But it's like the "you know me" thing. I was cracking up the whole time. Again, it's stupid, but it makes me laugh, so that's really what matters, I think. But what I want you people to do at home, after you watch this video, I want to get trending some way, somehow, all of our viewers, whoever you are, hashtag Blue, you know me. I'm gonna put it on the video when I post this. I'm gonna use that hashtag, and I want to see it. I want to see as many people use that. If you want to edit the scene to something funny, go ahead. Just do something with it. I think that's great. I don't know what it is. It's just so silly to me. It's like, Blue, you know me. You know me, Blue. Again, I crack up at it. But, yeah. How about John? Anything? What else you got to say about this? Give me something. You got something else to say about this. You sat through the whole thing. We know it's too long. There's got to be something else about it.
I don't think I have anything else.
Like I said, yeah. I like...
Forgettable.
All right. So if we're going to go that route, let's rate this thing. So...
Oh, goody.
I will say, which is odd, I enjoy it more than the last one, and I enjoy it more than The Lost World. Under the pretense, that it is ridiculous, this movie. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. It's two movies. If you want to watch two decent dinosaur movies, it's probably worth watching this, to be honest with you. I would give this movie a C+. I don't think it failed. I think the parts it does well. Like the action scenes are good. I thought the fight scenes with the dinosaurs are even better in this movie than the last one. Especially I remember more of the action set pieces in this movie. Like I'll remember the ball falling with the lava coming after it with the smoke. I'll remember Blue fighting the Indoraptor on the roof. Again, totally ridiculous and insane, but I'll remember it. So if I'm going to remember it, that accounts to something for me. And it did try. Again, my biggest complaint with the last movie was so much nostalgia. Everything was nostalgia. All of this, remember we did this? This movie's like, all right, we'll give you like a smither of that, but we're going to do something off the wall and just see what happens. And you know what? I'm going to give them credit for it. So for me, C+.
I go with the D.
D. All right. D for
Just
dinosaur.
straight up D for dinosaur. D for the franchise being dead.
D for dead. You're that deep in it.
D for it to being done. I just didn't care for this movie.
So should people in that, if you're giving it a D, you're saying people shouldn't watch it? Don't watch it? Skip it?
No, I would skip this one.
You would skip it. No.
I would skip 2, 3, this one.
You're skipping all of them, man. I don't know what's going on.
Save yourself some time.
Well, that's what John says. Listen to what Kevin says. All right, you know me. All right, you know me. Blue. You know me. You know me. You know me. Listen to my review score. All right. Check this out. All right. I'm gonna say check it out. If you want to have some stupid dinosaur fun, please just don't think too much into it. If you do, you're really gonna hate it. Because I think that's what I did initially when I watched this twice. The first time, I despised it. The second time, I went into it a little more like open minded. All right, let's see what this movie's got. I had a good time, and I think you will too. I really do. I think if you watch it, I think you'll enjoy yourself. If not, you'll just remember my stupid blue. You know me, and when that scene comes up, you'll start cracking up. All right, we're at the end of the video. John, where can the people find us at home?
You can find us on YouTube at TheReelMovieGuys. Like, subscribe, comment on our stuff if you want to. Tell us your thoughts on this movie or anything else that we've covered. You can also go on Twitter, find us at TheReelMovieGuy, and tweet at us. Tell us what you're liking about this podcast. Tell us what you're liking, what you don't like, if you agree with us.
Disagree with him. Yeah, exactly. And do not forget, for your listening pleasure, we are available on multiple podcast streaming sites. We are now currently available on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcast, Breaker, Radio Public, and Pocket Casts. If you're listening to us right now via one of those platforms, we greatly appreciate it. If not, just search The Real Movie Guys in the little search bar. Our name's going to pop right up. That being said, I really want to thank all you guys for everyone tuning in for Jurassic June. This has been a really fun event for me. It's been, it's had its ups and downs for sure. Maybe a little painful more times for some others than, it was a rough ride. Let's put it that way. After watching this, I think I'm more excited for the next Jurassic Park movie than I was, just because of this review series. Nothing to do with the quality of the movies, just, I can't wait to really talk about it again with you guys. But I think Jurassic June's been a lot of fun. Just stay tuned, because soon you will see the preview for our next event that's coming up in July. I think you guys are going to really enjoy that one. I think John's going to enjoy that too.
Oh yeah,
he's a big swimmer.
It's going to be out of this water fun.
Oh. We got foreshadowing. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. We are The Real Movie Guys. My name's Kevin. He's John. Real guys, real movies, real reviews, and we'll see you in the next one. #Blue, you know me. See ya.
See ya.